All right, welcome back to Finding Truth here on Unscripted Truth TV. Logan here with Austin as usual. No King this week. He says he will be able to make it next week, so push that out one more week, and hopefully you guys can be patient for the King as he decrees. Um, so yeah, interesting show tonight. A little bit of keeping it short and sweeter on throughout this month. A lot of stuff going on. Also, it seems to do good. It keeps people's retention a little bit more, but not that we've super cared about that. It's definitely been a thought on our minds, but apart from us both having stuff to do, it does help. So anyway, tonight's topic, we'll be going over a lot of massive flooding in the three western states and a little bit of Canada as well. Talking about Oregon, Washington, and California. And me and Austin, of course, being in Washington, he's dealt with the flooding. He's seen it firsthand, like right out of the side of his door. Me, on the other hand, I've only just now saw the Columbia was up about I don't know how to track that kind of stuff, but the Columbia is actually quite high. I live right above like floodplains, so it's like a long distance before you get to the river. Like there's a highway and there's like this long like swampland floodplains. And just now did I realize that the water was way further up there than it usually is. I just hadn't noticed it, but still no type of flooding in my part of Washington. But yeah, a lot of major flooding. We'll go into that. There's a major ritual going on with all you sports fans. Knowing that Phillip Rivers came out of retirement for a game in Seattle, and no coincidence there. I'll leave it at that for now. But do have a little bit of a personal anecdote from Austin to kick things off, and then we'll make some commentary on that, and then we'll move into the major weather warfare ritual, and then wrap it up. How you been, dude?
Yeah, definitely been all right. It's been a still afloat, nevertheless, still floating.
Lots of people.
Still above water at this point, but yeah, it's been a very interesting, wild week. Really started Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday were pretty chill. And it was weird, going into this week. We really didn't. The only thing I really, what we were talking about last week, we had the John Cena Gunther match that we were looking at. Of course, Gunther picking up the win in that. That was really the only thing this week. I was kind of looking to see how that would play out and what that was all about, and if there'd kind of be anything else to it. This week really towards the midpoint really turned out to be something. Like I said, Monday, Tuesday were pretty relaxed, pretty chill, pretty regular. Wednesday morning, things kind of took a very, not like a shocking turn, but just kind of I really don't know what to say about it. It's just so basically I woke up Wednesday morning and I was just gonna be a regular day. Monday, Tuesday were pretty fluid. Everything was going pretty well. I was just supposed to get up and go to work or just work that day and stuff. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary. I got up Wednesday and then I found or overheard that the person I live with that I take care of, her brother actually ended up dying just earlier in the morning. And this was pretty early in the morning. I think it was like 7, 8. Probably about 7 or 8 in the morning. We're supposed to actually get up. There was supposed to be an appointment too. So we were up. Apparently he died around like 2 in the morning or something, 2:40 or something. It was kind of weird. Like just here, because I'm like, she's like, oh, my brother died. Like when she said that, I'm like, who your brother? What do you mean? Like the one we took to Seattle? It's like, I was thinking, I'm like, wait, he died? He's dead? Like not like, and not like in a shocking, like not like falling out of my chair shocking, but still kind of like shocking, just like that he's like. I didn't know him really super well. I met him I think the first time was probably like 2.5. I think it was like March of like 2023. I ended up taking him to Seattle for something. He needed to go up there, him and her, to do something. I took him up there. Um, and then I don't really think I seen him since then. Really, maybe I've seen him once in that time. I don't think I have though. I think that was maybe last time. He lives like he was living like about 5 minutes from us in a trailer, and we were I'd take her over there to go see him. Usually that was kind of what we've been doing since I started working and stuff, and since I've moved and I've been doing this. Uh, I'd take her there for like 30 minutes, and she'd go talk to him and stuff, and then um, this was kind of how like the summer was playing out, and then like around September, or it was like I think it was September. She was saying he couldn't really stay there by himself. Um, and then he needed like a caretaker, and he was having health problems. He used to be like in, I guess, like a firefighter and stuff, and I think he's dealt with like dead people and dead bodies, stuff like that, and I guess he's uh stuff that he's like breathed in and stuff. I guess his health wasn't all that great. um and I helped him move. This was like back in September, October-ish. Helped him move, and basically took all of his stuff. Most of his stuff in his trailer. Um, we put it in a storage unit. I basically pretty much carried like everything up the steps and did all the stacking and put everything in there. There's like 4 or 5 people that helped out. There's stuff that I couldn't carry up the stairs. A few things they helped me that I couldn't get. Basically, I mean, like I said, I did pretty much all the work for him. Stacked his units, got all his stuff in there. Then he had some other stuff, like some clothes, some bags, some other stuff that he needed, and we ended up taking that to what was supposed to be his new place, where actually is like 5 minutes from where I'm from right now. Uh, and he had a caretaker there, and it's a pretty nice place, really. I actually really liked it. It was really clean. It was a nice house, nice neighborhood. Uh, it's free, of course. He had a nice bed, nice room. Um, but apparently he only lasted like a week, and I kind of felt that way when we took him there, like it wasn't going to work out. Um, I just felt like it just wasn't. I mean, it was a nice fit. Like it would have worked for someone like me, but I just felt like for him, he just probably wasn't going to work out there, and it didn't. He ended up leaving in a week, and he didn't return, so that was the end of that deal. Uh, so we had to go back there, and all his bags and stuff that was left over that he had that to live with, all the stuff that's in the storage unit, then his stuff that he had on him. We picked that stuff up. It's been sitting on our kitchen floor since September, October. It's been sitting there for a long time. And then he ended up going wherever I don't know where he ended up going. He ended up going somewhere else. And he's been staying there ever since, supposedly. And I guess he had some, like, I don't know if it was like a breathing equipment or something he was supposed to have, or his medicine or something he was supposed to have. I know she was worried the week where he was supposed to be at the new place and he was gone. He like went out on a boat or something, and like nobody heard from him. So she was worried about his health and how he was doing and stuff. Uh, I don't know how. Like I said, I haven't seen him in pretty much since that time, since helping him move and stuff. And apparently, what happened? I guess something happened, and an ambulance called. I don't know if he had a heart attack or something. They took him to the hospital, and apparently uh some lady like went in there with him, and then like not long after that he was pronounced dead, I guess. And I'm not sure exactly what happened. I believe the hospital definitely had it, and we've talked about this just when King Richard was on last time, the time before, about the hospitals killing people, and I thought that was strange. King was supposed to be on tonight too, and um it surely seems like that's what happened. Like I said, I don't know a lot of the details. I don't know a lot of information on this, so it's kind of just what I had to, what I've been told, of course. But apparently, because on Wednesday morning, hours after he died, they were supposed to go up to the hospital and verify the body that it was him.
Mhm.
And she went up there with her dad. Her dad came and picked her up in the morning. and probably about like 7 hours after he died or so, or 6, 7 hours. And they went up there, and I guess when they came back, she said that they didn't like allow them to. They wouldn't let her look at the body and see his body, and apparently they said they don't do that type of stuff. They don't let you look at the body, and they don't go into that stuff. And they weren't really like giving really any details, and they weren't. They're kind of hiding things. They're just kind of being really weird about it. I don't really know. It was kind of weird, just like the way I guess supposedly what she was saying, just how cold they seem to be about it. It's like the people in general too. I guess where he was staying, I guess they were also kind of that way. It's just a very weird situation, and I feel like I said, like the hospital, like I said, had something to do with it. It's weird because like we were helping him and supposedly, and like I said, it wasn't my idea to move him. That I felt like he needed to be moved for me, like my standpoint. Again, I don't really know him very well, and based off of what from what I know, he may have probably most likely been better just staying where he was. This probably wouldn't have happened, in my opinion. But trying to help him and get him out of there, it's like that's what actually killed him and stuff, and it caused this whole thing to happen. And like I said, it's just weird because his bags have been sitting on our floor, and it's like I can barely move the refrigerator, and it's like his stuff's just been sitting here, and that's like, well, now I look at it, and it's like, well, now he's not even supposedly here anymore. So uh it's a very weird feeling. It's a very weird situation. It's kind of like we set up his death, and the hospitals took advantage of it and just kind of did the sacrifice. But it's a very, like I said, I don't really know a lot of details, but I'm sure that apparently all his stuff in the storage that I put in the storage is going to be auctioned off, and we have to figure out what we're going to do with all the stuff that's on the floor and the rest of his stuff. But apparently all the stuff that I helped move and put in the storage is getting auctioned away. So it's all kind of weird. I don't know what we're going to do with the stuff on the floor and all his bags and stuff. I don't know what's going to
Who's
end up
setting
happening
up
with
the
that.
auction? Like who's the one responsible to get everything auctioned? Like,
Honestly, I don't even know. I guess a lot of people, she said, have been like reaching out or whatever, like they're like sad about it, or know about it. I guess a lot of people liked him. Um, like I said, I don't really know too much about him. I mean, she was, worried too, because, him being out and not having his either medicine or his like breathing stuff, or whatever, that he was, gonna have health issues. And so I'm shocked like he died, but it's just the way it happened and how it happened, and in the hospital and all this other situation. Um, the only notes I really have on the whole thing, um, it's they said, I don't know the exact time he died. I kind of got like two different answers. It might have been 243, and that's interesting because 243 equals 69, like Illuminati. Uh, of course, hospital's got the 44, like kill. Ambulance, he apparently got picked up in an ambulance. Um, and that equals 54. I don't know if they said he was pronounced dead in the ambulance, then they went to the hospital. I don't know if he walked in, or I heard some lady went in there, and then like not long after he was pronounced dead. So I don't know if it truly was a heart attack or not. Uh, One interesting thing, his name is supposedly Bobby. I guess it's his name, Bobby, and Bobby has the 46 like sacrifice, the 19, the 89, the 26. So it's kind of a pretty interesting name, pretty fitting for the whole situation. Also, they said 2:40 a.m. he died. That equals, it's got the 51 like conspiracy, the 120 like Illuminati. 2:40 equals 46 like sacrifice, like Bobby. 44. And of course, he died in December. December's got the 55 and the 44. December 10th is the day he died, which was Wednesday. Uh, December 10th, it's got that 59, like Freemasonry. See, December 10th, 2025 equals 144 as well. And then It also left 21 days left in the year, 21, like Jesuit was the 344th day of the year. That's pretty much all the information I have. Like I said, if I do find or hear more information, like I said, I'm sure there's gonna be a funeral next couple weeks. It was so weird because apparently when they went to the hospital, like, yeah, you can't see his body until the funeral. You'll see his body then or whatever. They're really weird about it. So there's pretty much no doubt in my mind what happened. Like I said, I don't know how much information the hospital had or like who was like behind the whole thing or what's been happening the last couple weeks or months to kind of get this situation to play out the way it did. But I'm sure I'm sure if I ask, I might be able to find more details. Again, it's hard to figure out, what's really right and what's the accurate information and uh, if I knew more and if they would, open up to more, I'd be able to find out more. I'm sure there's gonna be more stuff I hear and figure out through the next couple of weeks, whenever the funeral is gonna be and stuff. Should be interesting to see what day that's gonna be as well, and how they really go about all this. But yeah, just it's a very strange situation. I know she's really depressed about it and feeling sad this week. So it's kind of it's just a weird vibe. Um, for both of us. And literally, this is what she was telling me was the day after, because Wednesday we ended up working because of this. So then Thursday we did, and then we were driving around. We are talking about this. It's like that's what she was saying to me. She's like, yeah, it's like we helped him to kill him. It's like we helped kill him. It's like we kind of helped set this whole thing up, and like the hospital is the one that did the ritual sacrifice, and we just kind of set up for it. It's kind of what it seems like. It's like if we don't help him, he just keeps staying 5 minutes away in that trailer. He's probably still alive, and this doesn't happen. So it's just it's a very weird, very strange situation. It's like I said, just knowing his stuff's sitting there on the floor and he's no longer here, and just knowing he died. And it's been a really weird week. And like I said, it's just like I said, that like the last time or the time before when we had King on, we're talking about people in the hospital that, the hospital ends up killing people, stuff like this. And this is obviously something that we know is true. And we know stuff, like you go back to COVID and other situations as well. I mean, we know hospitals sacrifice people and kill people all the time, and they got stuff going on in there you don't know about. And, the doctors and stuff that were in on the COVID stuff, all the people saying it was COVID-19, it was COVID that killed the people, and all these people that died of supposed COVID, they were getting what, $13,000 every person they said was COVID death and COVID-19. And like you said, you brought up a great point too. Just did he have a vaccine as well? And that very well. I don't, like I said, I didn't know him till March of 2023. So it wasn't long after, I just met her in December of 2022. And then I met him a few months later. So I don't know him, before that. I don't know if he did get how many jabs or what he thought of COVID, or, how that all played out. Did that have a factor in his death or his health? Was there other things going on? Those would all be interesting things to obviously know and have information of. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if any of that's true. If maybe that's what made his health worse, or it played a factor in it. If it truly was like a heart attack or whatever. And like I said, I don't know if he called the ambulance or someone else did. If he really died in the ambulance or the hospital, or what really happened, but yeah, the whole thing's just very strange. A lot of things don't add up. And I know, like she said, she was, really mad and upset too, just the way the hospital was about it. And we were talking about all this, we were saying how, you can't trust hospitals, and how we feel like the hospitals, we both agree the hospitals probably killed him, had something to do with it. And just the way they were about it, and just how everything played out, and just like how he, like I said, was supposedly, like I said, I don't know if he walked into the hospital at all, or what happened, but just the way how quickly they like covered his body up, and I don't know exactly, like he wasn't dead for very long, which is really weird. Like I don't know what they did with him when he died right away, just like how that all works, but not even like letting them come in to like verify and make sure it was him and to see him, and even though they're immediate family, uh, very strange, very weird, just the way they were about everything. Just so yeah, I kind of it's like it's more like the way like vets operate. You know, like your animals run away and then you don't know about it, and then they kill your animals, and you call in about it, like, hey, my cat or dog ran away. Did you see it? It's like, yeah, we just killed it. You know, what do you want to know? It's like it's kind of the way it is. It's like they just very cold about the whole situation.
Yeah, and it makes me curious too, as like who called the ambulance. Um, and when it comes to like hospice and everything, I almost wonder if it was could have been somewhat mandatory, if not mandatory, highly suggested that he does get the jab. Just if other healthcare workers are involved with his daily life, just as like a new normal, like a new mandate, just like getting the flu shot, which I think a lot of people should look further back than just their just don't just stop at COVID shots.
Yeah.
Question all those things. But yeah, it's I'm right there with you with a high suspicion of misconduct in some way, and we call it misconduct, and that almost leaves room for there to be like an accident involved or like some sort of like misfortune. Um, but it's a tough, weird topic to talk about, and it's like unless you know people who on the inside, if you will, you're never gonna get like for sure details about this. But we've talked about hospitals, we talked about they're connected to the underground, we talked about um, something similar to this not that long ago. Yeah, you're absolutely right with King Richard when we were talking about how they people basically disappear after they die. And so and in this instance, you're not able to see the person. It's just like, what right do you have to stop me? It almost makes me feel like an employees only door. Do you know how much
Yeah.
respect we give to an employees only door? What the
Yeah.
hell does that mean to me? I can go through whatever door. I mean, honestly, you could peel that back and say I'm wrong about it, but I'm just saying like the fake walls that we put in front of ourselves and like respect towards like this authority is when it comes to like the hospitals and like um there's only so many people that would ever walk up into a courtroom or a police like a police headquarters or the sheriff's office and like demand things of them when we all should do that. We all should have no problem doing that. And we should all be able to, the fact that they have so, and they'll dumb it down too, and they'll say, "Oh, there's dead bodies and there's cleanliness and there's sanitization and all that stuff." But then you find out they're all fucking in the where they keep the pills and stuff like that in hospitals and stuff, and they do all the you find out all the nasty stuff that doctors and nurses are doing up in hospitals, and that leads into my second point that surrounded by death, which is a key component in ritual magic, surrounded by blood, another key component in ritual magic, and to another extent, the other goods, the sexual juices, and I mean, and then past all that, I know this is kind of like a turn for people not understanding. I'll wrap it. I'll make it make sense here in a minute, but I don't think it's any coincidence how big of a deal. Of course, they have Alex Jones be the one that makes a big deal out of adrenochrome so that no one buys it and no one thinks about it. And it kind of kills that situation, just like they use wackos to talk about flat earth or anything like that or about aliens. I'm not saying these things are true either. I'm just saying that they use these figures on purpose so that they can control the narrative. Anyway, um, yeah, I don't doubt that, there's spines getting tapped as soon as people die. Do we even, they say your soul leaves your body. What do they mean by that? Can
Right.
they can they quantify it? Do they see does that mean something medically or, ritualistically that they can use? or take advantage of. And if there were people like that, where the hell would they work? Walmart? No, they're going to work at the hospitals. That's where they're going to be. They need access to that kind of stuff. And then, of course, the fact that they have, unfettered access to things, as if they don't have to go home and take their shoes off and go to bed. They're different people than you. When their loved ones die, doctors also tell them, no, go away. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. So it's just the fact that they live in this, like, with different rules is it just like police officers, and just to an extent, I would say if these things were righteously done, I would say that's fine. If there was like a knowing that the positions that are being held of authority were done righteously, I would say yes, those people do deserve an upper echelon of things, because I would have a security that they're not going to take advantage of it. Guys, wake the fuck up. They all take advantage of it. They're not the same as you. When's the last time you had a conversation with a doctor where they weren't condescending in some form or fashion? Whether or not your kid just went in because he had a broken bone or whatever, they'll all talk to you condescendingly, because they went to medical school, and they made, they're in this tax bracket. Oh, and they're in the wellness field. Like, it's like they're superheroes in their head. Like, they have the power to heal. It's like, if you did that righteously, I would almost look at you with that glow of a hero. But no, you guys do it for the title. You guys do it for, and that's aside from the doing it for the unfettered access to deceased bodies prior to being deceased that may not otherwise be deceased. A lot of people do drop their loved ones off at hospitals expecting the best. And guys, go down the rabbit hole. Go down the rabbit hole of Uncle Jimmy getting dropped off at the hospitals, spry as a chicken the day before, he got some rare problem and took him in for surgery and he didn't make it. Little Sally goes in there with a common cold, doesn't ever come out. Comas, all these types of things that are proven to be medically induced 20 years down the line. Just imagine all the misconduct that's going on in hospitals. And this isn't for me. I'm not sitting here trying to like say all doctors are bad or nurses are bad. That's not what I'm saying either. I am 100% positive that people go into those fields. I think for good is what I was going to finish that out with. What I want to say though is I think the incentivizing of our current world, how doctors and particular fields are incentivized, pulls evil out of people. Not saying it's not their fault at the end of the day that they become evil or because they become corrupt to the dollars, the title, the lifestyle. They could become corrupt to all these things when, they look across the aisle and they realize that people who are sitting on the bench on an NBA team are making like 4 times the money they'll ever make. And they're saving lives. They're a heart surgeon. And there's a guy who sits on the bench and didn't play a minute this season who made way more money than you. That structuring of the government or of, our reality really, or of monetization of things, incentivization, I think there has to be a grassroots way to fix it, because they're never, from the top down, they're never going to change that. They're never going to make it to where the entertainers make less than the public servants. And as long as the public servants keep chasing the money an entertainer makes, we're going to have big problems. And because you don't have any honesty in these fields, you don't have any honesty with firefighters, you don't have any honesty with the police, you don't have any honesty with these doctors, and they can all say they're legally bound not to say things too. And they have, they have the backing, they have big daddy government on their side as well. So it's just this mess where distrust should be at an all-time high with these places. And I don't have my finger to the pulse with as far as hospitals go. I know people have a general distrust of police and and other authorities of that nature, but even that's contrived. So you we should have a we should have distrust of them because of our personal stories and personal dealings with them, not because a talking head told us to. You know that we should also abolish police in our state because that's just an agenda. That's just pushing some sort of agenda. But as far as you, Jeff, normal Jeff guy watching or whatever. I'm not trying to be rude about it. It's not like I'm special, but as far as we understand it, we should have a general understanding that these people view themselves as higher people and that they don't, they view their position as, you know, for the title rather than for the betterment of their community. And you should understand that as such. I'm not saying they're not necessary in a lot of situations. I'm not saying that. But you got to also think about the ratios. How many people go to the hospital that don't leave the hospital with just a prescription? That's nobody touched you. Nobody, maybe even technically the stethoscope, whatever those things are called. Um, Even then, they put a glove on, and it's like you're uh, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like you're some sort of like test subject, like you have some sort of disease that they're testing. Anyway, I always find that funny, but whatever. You barely get looked at, but by the end of it, you got a prescription to walk out and fill. What's the percentage of that to the percentage of people that need life-saving like help or like serious medical help that go into a hospital? It's got to be staggering the amount of people that go in there that get pills rather than any kind of service done to them. So you could look at it that way too, that the hospitals are really ran by um, the pharmacists. It's really the house of pharmacy um, rather than healing or anything like that. And so the chance for corruption is at an all-time high in those types of environments. So why wouldn't you start there? Not to be like paranoid, not to go and like bring your pitchfork and try to deal with it. I'm just saying it probably there's probably more to look into. And when you're dealing with things like this, it's probably wise to try to get some type of footing within the hospital. I don't know. I don't really know the answer, honestly. I honestly don't know the answer. It's just frustrating that these positions of power and authority can tell another human being that they can't see their relative or loved one, and they can just do it and walk away with their little clipboard and just like go drink something out of a vending machine, and their day is just going, and you're sitting there. What are you thinking? What could you possibly be thinking? You're thinking you're having the worst day of your life, and they're just sipping on an orange juice in the other room after telling you it's wild. And like I said, I don't think it's a coincidence. I think there's definitely a reason that they try to make quick work of these recently deceased.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, and like I said, I mean, I'm not, I'm not surprised or like I said, shocked that he died, because it's like I was like the way she was feeling about it and thinking about it too, like the last few months, like, oh, he doesn't have his stuff, and the way he just kind of goes out and does stuff. I'm like, well, if he's gonna die or he wants to die, I guess that's, it's on him. It's what I was saying to myself too. I'm like, well, if that's his choice. I mean, we tried to help with everything we could, and he just, it is what it is. But I mean, he was, a heart attack. I don't know. I mean, he was he was a tall dude. He was probably like 6'2", 6'3", tall. Really skinny though. He was super skinny. He was probably like 6'2", 6'3", probably about like my weight, probably like 170, 160. I don't know. He was pretty skinny. Not like anorexic, not like bones come out of your face. Not that kind of skinny, but he was skinny. He was tall and skinny, but not that he was in. From what I seen, like I wouldn't say like, oh, he's gonna be dead in the next few months or he's in really bad shape. I mean, but again, I don't really know, what was all wrong with him from before and what all of his problems were health wise and stuff like that. I mean, it's very hard to say, and uh, but to me, it's just like, regardless of all that, it's more to me just like, and again, I don't know what happened, the night before leading up to all this, that morning leading up to all this, exactly how this all unfolded. I have no idea, but you just look at how they went about everything. Wouldn't really give any information, wouldn't really tell anything, wouldn't really say anything. Was kind of hiding evidence, hiding the body, not letting them see him, not really answering questions, um, and you just look at all the other stuff. It just paints a very funny picture. It just paints a very strange picture. And like I said, I mean, his name being, literally equaling 46, Bobby off the top. Maybe they had that information, like, oh, we know we're going with this 46 sacrifice. We got this. I mean, it could have been, and I mean, for all I know, this could have been planned. Oh, look, he's out of that trailer. He's on his own. We're going to get this guy. That could have been going on too. I mean, this, like I said, how like we feel like we were kind of in on it. There could have been outside forces watching the whole thing, knowing that stuff sitting on my in the kitchen there. I mean, that's how I feel about it too. Like this was a very co-opted deal. I mean, like I said, I mean, if he was just gonna die, or he wanted to die, or he didn't care if he had his medicine or his breathing stuff, or he was having issues and he just didn't care and he was just gonna die. I mean, like I said, I mean, that was kind of on him. So I'm not. It's not like I'm totally shocked, falling out of my chair. Like, definitely no, but the way it went down, the way it happened, and just like from what I know, from what I've been told, and just like how it all looks, it's just yeah, it looks like he was probably most likely sacrificed, to say the least. And like I said, I mean, there could be who knows how many people really truly were in on it, or who was all in on it, or whatever. And um, just yeah, and this is like we were saying. I mean, this is that kind of thing that it could happen. It's like you have you go into hospital, you have surgery or something. You never know what's going on when you're asleep. Like I remember when I had my surgery, that the day was the day the world was supposed to end, or whatever, to December 21st, 2012, the Mayan calendar, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny because my whole life, the only surgery that I had that I remember I was put to sleep, anything like that, was on that day. So why that day? And I remember hearing about the day like back in 2008, 2009. Oh, December 21st, 2012, it's coming. It's just like, well, what is that? What's gonna happen on the day? It's like, yeah, that's the one day I was put to sleep and had surgery. It's so weird. I always think, well, I'm like, well, why on that day? What were they thinking when that day they had that plan for me when I was going to the hospital? Like, what? Like, oh yeah, let's get him in on that day. That's the day we're gonna do it. That's the day we're gonna go with. Like, what? How did that even come to be? How did that align? Like, things like that just really just blow me away and make me wonder. But it's just
I could make a decent movie out of that concept. That sounds like the start of a movie.
yeah, people, that's what everyone was saying. Like, everyone is like, when I told people about it too, I'm like, yeah, my December's on 20. My surgery's on December 21st, 2012. And everyone's like, oh man, that's crazy. That's insane. You're gonna wake up and it's gonna be like an alien world. There's gonna be all this stuff, and everyone is like making a big deal about it. It's just yeah, just a very very weird, very strange. It's like, especially knowing about that date for 3-4 years, like all people were talking about, and it's like, oh, I wonder what's gonna happen on the day. It's like, yeah, you're going to sleep that day and you don't know what's gonna happen to you. We got secrets for you, pal.
Well, yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? Where's your level of trust at with establishments such as those? I mean, when it comes like the healthcare field and hospice and things of that nature, I think it's just a breeding ground. It's just the same way that, as messed up as it is, pedos that can hide it You know, what are they going to want to be? What do you want? What do you think their professions are going to be? Bus drivers, teachers, um, Chuck E. Cheese. You know, this is where they're going to fly. It's just that's just kind of how the nature of the beast. And I know enough, and like you mentioned too, it's just the it's I just I without repeating myself, I do think it's a problem that they have unfettered access the way they do. And one of the biggest problems is just that, you know, the doctors and nurses, I mean, maybe there's like some low level nurses that that you can know and identify and understand. You know, they're maybe even still live at home. I've known those situations where there's like a single mom or something like that who's like a nurse and still lives with her mom, and it's just a person. You can tell that that's just a person. But as far as like these, you know, the doctors and the like RNs and like higher paid and radiologists, all those who, who knows, you know, what kind of access they have, and the fact that they're not like us. I don't know how to explain this very well right now off the cuff, but like I said, having like a general distrust of them, I think is safe and should be normal. Uh, just based on the fact that you basically have all these fields, everybody's playing their, you know, the game of the world's game. Hi, baby. And it's not like a small town where there's like couple small town doctors and they know everybody and they live right next door to you. That's not how these things generally work. Without rambling on, I'm mainly just saying a lot of the stuff I already said. It's just it is it's curious for sure, and people should definitely be cautious and um, understand that these things can happen at your level. You know, these people aren't going underground. You know, the your friend's brother. He's not being whisked away to be a mole person like a celebrity does. Uh, this is where they can get away with, you know, the completion of a sacrifice. And I'm talking about these people worship sacrifice gods, Baal, all these types of things. It's messed up, and so to I don't know, I wouldn't give it a chance, like a number on whether like 50-50 whether or not it was a sacrifice or not. I don't, like I said, you don't have the details. I don't really have all any of the details. I just know that those places are going to be a breeding ground for that kind of activity. And when you do enough research, you find out not only at the establishment of these places, but a lot of the things that have happened at these major hospitals since. And I'm talking about because, you know, these hospitals are chains. It's crazy. It's just wild. It's absolutely wild. And, you know, down to the egos that go into these places, you know, they're all named after people or saints and things of that nature. So
Yeah.
anyway, interesting topic. Curious to if you guys have any stories like that, and what are your thoughts about hospitals and things of that nature. Looking forward to seeing what you guys think about that kind of stuff, because that's the real side of, you know, we're just two dudes on the internet, but at the same time, there's like lots of real, you know, people live their lives just like people. I'm doing it. Oh no. But you know, we got to live our lives and and deal with things just like, you know, everybody else, all the other normal people. And so yeah, it's one of those things I think a lot of people take for granted and don't even like second guess and think about. But anyway,
Reminds me of
that's
that SpongeBob episode when I was young, the Suds episode where he gets the Suds, and then Patrick's like, "Oh, you can't go to the doctor. The doctor's a horrible, horrible place. You know, it's a very bad place." Like I always love that episode because that's always the same way I was about things. I hated the doctor, hated the hospital, that didn't want to go. Like I said, I haven't been there in 10 years, so um, yeah. And I can't remember last time I had a checkup. Probably I was in my early teens, very long time ago. So yeah, I like I said, I totally avoid that stuff. But I always go back and think about that episode. You can't go to the hospital. Don't go to the hospital. The hospital, the doctor's a very bad place. That's what I always think of as that episode whenever we uh talk about that stuff.
Suds is interesting too, just because how close it is to Sid's.
Right.
And that's a kid, generally a kid show, even though we both know it's not a kid show. Um, a lot of kids watch it still, and a lot of kids are sat in front of it without the parents even knowing what SpongeBob's about or the things they include in that show. But it was my favorite show when I was in high school. I was a stupid ass kid, but when I was in high school, anyway.
I remember
And
when it came out in '99. Yeah.
I can do quite a few of the voices, but I will spare you guys. Um, yeah, it's yes. So yeah, that's funny. SpongeBob. I've definitely seen that episode because I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know the whole context of the episode, but yeah, I remember.
I
I
forgot
remember
a lot of it too. I remember bits and pieces.
But yeah, also that's kind of playing off the whole like uh most kids are scared of the hospital and the doctors just
Yeah.
innately. Like they're people are born and they're afraid of spiders, the dark, and hospitals. Wait, why hospitals? The place where all the good people are trying to help us? Interesting. Maybe they know something we don't.
That's
So
the place
yeah,
nobody wants to be. Nobody wants to go. It's like, think about that. It's supposed to be the place that's supposed to save you and take care of you and rescue you and be there for you. But yet nobody likes it or wants to go there. It's always bad. Whenever you're talking about the hospital and doctors and all that stuff, it's never anything good. And then you look at all the money these people make too. It's just you just see through the whole big show why all these people are all propped up. It's like, oh, you got to be a doctor. You got to be this. You got to be that. It's just like, yeah, they get paid all this money just to not even what they do. Oh, you got an issue, take some pills, take this, and it makes you 100 times worse. Doesn't even cure anything. Doesn't even do anything.
it's the same thing. It's like trying to think of like a heroin dealer being being like a holistic healer on the side, like somebody who like cares about you and your well-being, but they can't truly do that because their bottom line depends on you being sick. So it's ridiculous to think people just don't see things for what it is. It's a business. And you can at some level understand that and still not see through that idea that you are the bottom line for them. You are the merchandise, if you will. Without you, without your sick self, they don't make that buco bank. And who
Yep.
incentivizes them to make that money in order to keep up the system? You think about like sewer workers that go like hundreds of feet underground do to like weld pipes and stuff, these really dangerous jobs, or uh there's lots of other dangerous jobs without me going and listening off. You get my point. They get paid a lot of money to because otherwise, who else will do them? Well, it's the same kind of concept, only it's almost like paying them to keep them on in the under not under wraps, but it's like paying a lot of money to keep them like straddled to the system so that they don't even think about any like you don't get doctor whistleblowers. You don't it's they're all I could go on and on and on about it, but we do got to keep this a little shorter, a little sweeter, so we will move on from there. Of course, we did want to touch on the John Cena last match. We talked about this last week. We went on and on, asking ourselves, what would be the point of John Cena winning? What's the narrative for him to win? I don't know if there was one. I don't remember finding one, but we found all sorts of narratives for him to lose. We talked about his multiple shaming rituals, how they're pulling the wrestler John Cena from this sphere, and he's not. They're trying to make him less memorable as a wrestler because they have other plans for him. And lo and behold, loses to good old Gunther. And we also saw narratives for Gunther to win. This,
Yep.
relative nobody that they're basically saying is a superstar, which nobody knows about. I don't know what the how are you a superstar if no one knows about you? That's kind of antithetical, isn't it?
Yeah, and I know Cena only had like two. He had four. He had like four like tap outs in his whole career. He had like two of them were from Kurt Angle, and like one was from Chris Jericho, and one was from Chris Benoit. So he had Chris, Kurt, um, four times. This was only the fifth, and that was I think the last time was like I don't think he's given up since like 2002 or 3 or 4. Like this was all like around that like 2002, 3, 4 times. So it hasn't been like it's been like over 20 years since he's like given up or tapped out in a match. So it's uh really weird the way I would have thought they would have had him just like go to sleep and like he can't like raise his arm, then like he just uh Gunther would just win by submission because he put Cena to sleep instead of having him tap out. But like Cena, like giving up, he's quitting, he's retiring. So actually have him tap out. I guess that's what the thinking was there. Uh, yeah, it was just the match was. I didn't see the whole. I didn't watch the whole highlights of the whole match because I don't know if they'll even let you see that. Saw like pretty decent amount of pieces and parts of it. Uh, kind of saw like the way it began and ended and stuff, and then just kind of all the like little rituals they were doing, and then I guess there was a pretty good amount of people that were upset with the finish. I know there's people. I guess Gunther had to be. They had to put him in like or they had to like have him get like police escorted because like people were rioting and people were unhappy and
Mhm.
uh with the finish or just like Gunther or whatever. So there was a lot of like emotional stuff going on with this. I didn't really I seen that one the Lady Boy won her match, the one we were looking at last week. The Lady Boy, the
I'm
five
trying
foot
to.
nine lady, the 5'9" Lady Boy won, and I didn't really look at the other matches, but
So Jay Uso lost. It says Cody Rhodes. I don't know how to read this stuff. So I'm guessing that Jade Cargill. I can't remember. I had to go look these up again.
I know she was already the women's champion,
Okay.
so maybe they had a rematch or something.
There we go. I don't want your analysis, you weirdo. Okay. What about the other matches? Okay, this is not how I want it. Like, make this easier. Make this easier. Where's their website? There we go.
It was interesting too because they gave him uh the champions like handed them their belts, so that would have made him like a 19-time champion with them handing him the belts, which I thought was kind of interesting. 19.
Hmm. Are these just pictures? They're not really. They're not. This is so stupid. There's really no way to check results. Like, this is kind of dumb. I don't really get how to follow this. I thought it would be easy as like they would just say who won, wouldn't they? I don't really. Let's see. Anyway, okay, maybe that was more simple. But I just feel like this isn't listing all of them. Anyway. Oh no, okay, it did say it. I didn't see this one. Okay, I see it now. So yeah, our lady boy won for sure. You have to watch last week's episode to understand what we meant there. That's hilarious though. That's great.
That was we were cooking last week. We were cooking.
What is it? Sun lady man. Pretty funny.
Yeah.
So they kept, okay, so Cody Rhodes had no problem. Drew McIntyre interference. Just some some funny drama that they like to throw out there. And I mean, just the idea that people would riot to this. It's like we're fucking cooked. Guys, this is admitted to scripted. It's admitted to. So what can you argue with? At least the people who follow all the other sports, they don't think it's scripted. So it's like in their eyes, this is all happening at the moment and anything can happen. So like they're upset that like this, and that happened because it's real to them. But the guy, I know real to me is the whole like funny thing wrestling fans like to say. But come on, why would you get mad? Like who are you supposed to be mad at? The actor? I'm so confused. Like, what are you guys mad about? This is scripted. You watch a scripted sport. You have to know that you're watching a daytime drama. Why are you mad about the outcome? You never hear about like 45-year-old women just rioting, going down to, picketing the daytime drama awards and being like, no way, Trevor should be with Maria. What the hell? They think that, and then they keep it pushing. They don't riot. Anyway, I just find that very, very funny that any kind of thing would happen. Let's look it up. Let's see what you're talking about. Cena last match outcome. Let's just type in crowd. I don't know. Are you saying like something actually happened, or was it contained to the arena, or what?
I just heard they said
Okay,
Gunther had to be like that he had to be like escorted out by police because people were like going like crazy. I guess that maybe that was like spilling kind of maybe out towards the arena, maybe stuff that I didn't really see too much like footage of that, but that's what I was hearing.
It sounds like it was contained to the arena, but
yeah.
just a lot of unruliness near the tunnels or whatever. Excuse me. Interesting. 17-time world champion. They fell silent before breaking into expletive chants about the outcome. Cena tried to calm down the fans from rebelling. Oh my gosh. But they continue to show their Oh, what a villain. What a true villain.
Yeah.
Ooh, guys, chill out. It's like, shut up. As if they don't want the crowds. I mean, this is crazy. By the way, you guys need to, I'm telling you, NBA is dead. They are propping NBA up. It must be, they must include streaming or something like that, because the few highlights I've watched, even the popular teams, they do not even come close to selling out the bottom half of their arenas at all. It's like empty. It's crazy. But it's pretty wild to see how many parents and kids are exposed to brought to wrestling. And we've talked about that before, how it's, they have a little harder than what's in between softcore and regular porn. There's got to be something where it's just like maybe a titty pops out or something because
Yeah.
it's not softcore. I would say I think it's a step above that. What they do with the ladies, and there've been like slips and things of that nature in wrestling as well. Um, I know
There used to
who
be
was it
like
like
back when
Stephanie
it was the
McMahon used
WWF,
to always like
WWE. There used
flash
to
her
be
ass.
yeah, there used to be like girls used to kind of flash.
Mhm.
They used I know like Sable like took off her top before, and like I know like a couple other girls might have had like their top pulled off, or uh that was kind of more of the norm.
Or Janet
More
Jackson.
of like the full on nudity. I remember with Sean O'Hare and his one of his things he had Brian Kendrick streak around everything naked. He was like walking in like Stephanie McMahon's locker room naked, just like running around the whole arena naked. And then he had one of the divas. He had like told her to like go flash the audience. Uh, so there was, I mean, that was like back the more of like the attitude era, like I said, WWF, WWE, that type of time period. Now it's not so much like nudity, but now there's like more, but it's like
I mean, might as
it's more
well be.
sexualized though. It's weird.
Yeah, it's literally like string thongs. So you're sitting there. Let's see that picture. I guess I can't. I don't have that. But the lady boy, it's like, what isn't it? What are you missing? I mean, do you have any amount of imagination? They might as well be naked. It's you're seeing all the jiggling and the gyration and the grabbing and the yanking and the pulling. It's like what else are you watching? And that goes for when the dudes are doing it too. I think there's something to be said about that too. But yeah, it's saying he apparently this Gunther guy apparently beat. Um, oh no, you're right. It did spill out when he was getting on the bus. He was confronted as well. Interesting, Gunther. That is shocking loss. Ooh, you guys were shocked. Oh, you should have watched our podcast. You wouldn't be so shocked. Uh, by saying Gunther's a career killer. Interesting. What did I just say? That they're trying to pull him out of wrestling. He's a career killer for sure. That's what he was meant to do. It's not like they're not saying that in a negative way. They're telling you the truth. He is there to beat him so that you guys don't stay attached to him. So you have a negative sentiment with his wrestling career. He'll always get those accolades, and those will always be brought up through like Hollywood on their terms, but they want you to accept the new John Cena, the actor John Cena. Just get ready for it. He's going to be plunged into a lot more roles. Maybe it won't be acting necessarily, but I expect him to get his own TV. I know he had one technically that Suicide Squad spinoff, but I'm talking about. I see him probably getting before it's all said and done. I think they're going to probably give him a game show. That's my prediction. I think he's hosted a game show before too, but I think
I
he's going
think
to
he
get a
has.
game show. I think he's going to get an actual game show. There's something they choose that path for certain people, and he seems like a game show host.
Like Randy Orton was the legend killer.
But yeah, I guess he beat Goldberg was the other wrestler he
Oh, he
fought on his
retired
last
Goldberg.
fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So obviously so I didn't even know that. We didn't even find that out. We didn't know about that last week, or it wasn't spoken of last week, but that's just, icing on the cake for what we talked about. And yeah, it was absolutely no surprise that he would lose. He's definitely been poster boy for shaming rituals. We covered a lot of them. There probably is more. But yeah. So put Cena's last match under our belt as well. Called that shit. Now, moving on, the last portion of our stream, I think it's a kind of a bigger deal because there's like actual real world side effects for people.
Yeah, speaking of people that should be it's kind of like that's what they use. They use the John Cena thing to divert from this because people can rage and get mad about that and riot and protest over that, but they should have been rioting and protesting with Mr. Phillips.
Filling up all our rivers.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember even just seeing that comment left on one of Zach's videos. Shout out to Zach, Gematria Effect News. But yeah, it's just that before we get started, guys, but just a quick preamble. The Colts played in Seattle against the Seahawks. They lost their quarterback, so oh man, you're absolutely right. Oh duh. Dude, they brought him out of retirement. Oh my gosh, right before.
Yep.
So John Cena retires and then they bring Phillip Rivers out of retirement. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. Good call. I wasn't even thinking it from that angle until I was just about to say it. Sorry if I was a little slow on the uptake there. But yeah, they bring Phillip Rivers out of retirement. Now, granted, he is looking forward to his name on a Hall of Fame ballot, and he openly retired. Like I guess it wasn't just like finalized, or you can still come out of. I understand you can come out of retirement. We all know about Tom Brady and all these things, but so Brett Favre. But anyway, yeah. I think he was the king of coming out of retirement. I think he did it a couple times, but so anyway, you have him come into Seattle. His birthday. We'll get into the nitty gritty details, but just the name, just to mention the names and the jokes that they like to play on it. The other football joke that rings out to me, I just mentioned Tom Brady, but Drew Bledsoe. He goes down against the Jets, and who comes in for him and never leaves? Tom Brady, and it's just his name. It's so fitting. Drew bled so Tom Brady could have his career. Drew bled so Tom Brady could have his career. It's like when your name is a sentence, you're basically you're set up for something. Phillip Rivers, Drew bled so yeah, so
they drew it right up, didn't they?
Absolutely. And so yeah, just right off the bat, the joke, let's get the joke out of the way because it's kind of funny. And, I've mentioned several times, it's like, I'm not on board with it. That's not the way I wanted to put it, but I can see their humor. And let me put it this way. If for some reason my mind was twisted and I was caught up in the Jesuits and their organizations, there's many organizations, and I was one of the sick bastards who that plan these things out, and that I could find myself probably laughing if I was the one to have to set this up. I would probably get a chuckle out of using Phillip Rivers to cause massive flooding. I'm not saying that I think it's funny that it happened. I'm just saying I understand the injection of humor. And not that it's right, but at the same time, it is their way of telling us. And so whether or not you think it's funny or not, that's besides the point. You need to be able to see it more than anything. As long as you can see it, then you don't need to think it's funny or not funny. You don't even need to have an opinion one way or another about it like that. But
it's like Drew Brees coming to your town on a windy day.
Exactly. A hurricane, Katrina, when your quarterback is Drew Brees. He Drew Brees. Like, come on. That's another perfect example.
And he played for San Diego. Then that's where Phillip Rivers came from because he was there and then he left. And he went to the Saints, and then they picked up Phillip Rivers. And I always thought, like, Phillip Rivers. It's an interesting name. And all these years later, it's like, well, here's what he was for. Here's his moment of fame.
You think the major flooding is going to happen in California? No, they had to plan this whole thing out for the Colts to come here. And well, I mean, this is big, and please do check out Zach's channel. Even King Richard's covered it, I believe. I don't know if he has a video. I've only caught in a couple of his videos recently. I need to do my due diligence and have him back on in the background while I'm working and stuff. But just because I rarely catch his lives, and not to mention he is there's definitely fuckery going on with his channel. I do not get notified when he goes live, so like rarely do I ever get notified. So just more fucked up shit with YouTube. But anyway, Zach's covered this very well. And but there I do believe there's a lot more. And what's interesting is like I know someone in the community, formerly someone in the community. I guess he's still in the community technically because he does a podcast with Decoding with Cody. You've heard of him, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so, Rambo, he does hit the podcast with that guy and another guy, can't I've s I it's gotten recommended to me, I've never watched it. I think I watched, like, the first 5 minutes of one just to see how Rambo was doing because he has the face cam on, so it's nice to see that he's doing well. And, but yeah, this is something that I think Rambo would have had a whole video on to complement Zach's decodes, you know what I mean? Because not saying Rambo couldn't decode gematria too, but he did the esoteric stuff, and I think there's a lot of it in this. This, as Zach's pointed out and you pointed out, this is the year of the horse, and there's a lot going on with this. And I have a little bit of a presentation, uh, just a quick couple of things that I picked up on just today, really. But oops, that's the second slide. So as far as Mr. Fill Up My River, that sounds kind of gay saying it, my bad.
His birthday is Corey Taylor's birthday. Gematria, the killing name, December 8th.
Interesting. And that whole good catch. Huh. How let's check something real quick. Sorry. Because this guy is like larger than his role with Slipknot. He's been plunged into a lot of different things. So. He's 52.
Yeah,
wow.
There you go. I was gonna say,
wow.
Yeah, yep.
Good catch, Austin. You'll see why that makes sense if you don't already know. If you know right now. But that's a big catch right there. Good catch.
Yeah, wow. I forgot to mention that I think last week that it was Corey Taylor's. We were having Corey Taylor's birthday because that was we had our last episode, and that was the next day was December 8th. I don't think I brought that up, but yeah, that was something I was thinking about. That was on my mind. And then, well, we got another December 8th. We had the guy coming back out of retirement. We have Cena going away, but here comes Philip Rivers to fill up my pond by my house. Almost submerge the walkway.
Absolutely. No, yeah, that was a great catch. That's only things you get here live. Well, it's not live, but stick with us, and these catches are always fun. So anyway, there's some surface level stuff, but then I want to get into a little bit of the esoteric stuff that why I mentioned Rambo. But other than he's born December 8th, of course, that is the day that all this flooding got the major attention. And keep in mind that they call these storm surges, or it's not really storm surges. It's basically continuous rain. Like, it doesn't have to be hard rain. It's just continuous rain to where it is completely, I can't think of the word right now, but it's basically filling up all of the aquifers and things of that nature. Maybe not aquifers necessarily, but bodies of water, up higher. So obviously it rolls down and it fills up the river. There's nowhere for the water to go. It's like completely, gosh, the word is just slipping my mind. But anyway, it's just continuously soaked to where the water, it's not like some crazy, like, it's not like a Charlotte's, it's not like a North Carolina flooding situation where it's like this massive thing. It's just a very slow burn as opposed to those, but they call them atmospheric rivers because it's just constant rainfall. It's a river flowing above you. So just that's hilarious too, that this whole thing is an atmospheric river. And yeah, obviously you have a 44-year-old coming out of retirement. Seattle equals 44, and there's a lot of other 44s involved in this. I just highlighted that because it's right there on the thing. Well, obviously, like I said, this starts on December 8th, and this is in the Pacific Northwest, otherwise known as PNW. PNW equals 17. Seattle, that's the number Philip Rivers wears. Seattle obviously equals 107 as well. Numerology equals 17. So, or when you take away the 0, it equals 17. So no coincidence there. But more so, I've noticed a huge Neptune ritual behind this whole thing. If you're not familiar with Seattle, guys, it is a huge. They do a lot of Neptune rituals there, mainly through their sports team, the Mariners, who, if you guys didn't catch in the playoffs last year, I don't know how long they've been doing it because I'm so far removed from sports, but they weren't doing this back when I used to care about the Mariners. But recently they've had this giant trident. So like when they score and things of that nature, they pull out this big golden trident and like pump up the crowd and things of that nature. And of course, their old logo was a trident. They still use it every once in a while on like retro nights. They use it too, but it's like an M upside down, and then obviously the trident making the M. But so of course, that stadium being right next door, where the Seahawks play. Not to mention, just the amount of rain, and you're right there on the the Puget Sound. You're right off the ocean in Seattle. It's literally the ocean's right there. It's very seafaring town, if you will. So very connected to the ocean. And who's the god of the ocean and seas and things of that nature? Neptune, who is also the god of horses. And if you look up the name Philip comes from ancient Greek, combining philos, friend or lover, and hippos, horse, meaning lover of horses. So you get a guy who's named lover of horses coming into town with the Colts, bringing the Colts to town, the horses, and to Seattle, where the Trident team plays. And there's also the Seattle Kraken or whatever. Was that the hockey team? I wouldn't be. I think hockey's still going on. That might be worth looking into.
I know International Horse Day was just like a week or two ago as well. I can't remember if I brought that up to you, talked about that or not. I might have.
I think it's National Alabama Day too, and Philip Rivers is from Alabama. Let me see if I can pull that up. These national days, we got to get in tune with these damn national state days, bro.
Yeah, I was just looking at this like a week or two ago at International Horse Day.
Okay, yeah, National Alabama Day is today too. So you got a guy from Alabama coming to town as well.
There we go.
Coming out of retirement. But yeah, let's look at this Horse Day. And there's more to my little decode here coming here. Just let's look this up. Well, the UN declared July 11th as World Horse Day. I'm not. Oh, no, National Horse Day was yesterday. Interesting. Wow. Good catch.
Yeah, because I just was looking at that like a week or two ago. I just caught that Horse Day. I'm like, I wonder. That's interesting. That's everything going on. It's interesting too. Like I said today too, how the Broncos are now the best team as well. They're the other horse team. You have the Colts and the Broncos, and the Broncos won, and they're the only team now that has only lost 2 games. Every other team has lost 3 or more games. So the Broncos have the best record right now. As Philip Rivers comes in on as the Colts, and
yeah, very good. Another good call. Great catch, man. A couple of national days coming into play on this one as well. We definitely. I need a calendar. I really should just download like a zip file, whatever they call them.
That's what it was. I was looking up John Cena's match, and I was like, December 13th. Taylor Swift's like, what's significant about that day? Or like, I just typed in December 13th, or what was significant about that day or whatever, and then that's what that was. It was Horse Day that popped up. I forgot to mention
Taylor
that.
Swift have own horses. She sings a song called White Horse.
It's interesting too. I was talking about Taylor Swift, and look what happens today. The Chiefs lose, and then Mahomes is like out for season now, injured.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So
Huh.
maybe there was kind of something there.
Well, she does own horses, and she's included them in her music and videos and things of that nature. So interesting. So her birthday is also on National Horse Day. Something to think about. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot of ritualism going on there. Holy shit.
Yeah, I
Like,
forgot to mention this last week.
there's no way a National Horse Day doesn't just means nothing. So there's absolutely no chance that that's not something. Great point. So I think the rest of the stuff I do not. Okay. Oh yeah, the other was an article I had to pull up. So let's go back to that. So now the county that is kind of in the headlines initially with this whole flooding story was Snohomish County. And that is named after the Native Americans that live there. Now, let's look. Let me do a slightly different search. Snohomish name origin. Now, listen to this. Oh, okay. So now it's going to say, okay, I didn't read the AI overview, but they're definitely trying to change it. And I'll show you that they're trying to change it as well. The name Snohomish comes from the Snohomish tribe, a Native American people who lived in the Puget Sound area, now Snohomish in Island Counties, Washington, and whose name means something like the people of the lower river. I haven't seen them. I didn't read this AI overview, but this is not what I read. I read something else. It wasn't that. What I read is that one of the very last chieftain related individuals for the Snohomish relays that because the history books say Snohomish means nothing but who they are. It's like their title. But this chief guy says no, it doesn't just mean our title, it means the lowland people. I Okay, it might have been Wikipedia. Unfortunately, sorry guys. But let me see if I can bring up where they say name and etymology. It should be in here. Okay, here we go. The Snohomish people in the early 20th century said it meant lowland people. Let's just take a quick people. Lowland people. Interesting gematria there on them. Why I thought that this was interesting bringing it up. Not only does it play into this whole thing, because Indianapolis equals 201, so there's the other 201 that that plays into this. Well, obviously the Colts coming into Seattle, and you could say Seattle's not Snohomish County. That's fine, but obviously the ritual is bigger than just one county. And I also want to point this out because in my research, I have found that the native inhabitants, whatever you want to call them, the native Indian, Native Americans, whatever you want to refer to them as or think of them as, they're in on the big game. So, and I'm not saying that there wasn't some sort of manipulation by people that came over or whatever. I don't know the exact history. I do have a different history of America. I go off of a different history of America than everything that's been fed into our history books about Native Americans, even too. I feel like they've really made Native Americans almost an untouchable history, one that it's like Jewish people. And I know it's not like that in the same exact way. It's not like Native Americans hold the power. I'm just saying the way they write it in the history books, it's like if you question it, you're just a bad person. Look at the Trail of Tears, look at all the things they had to go through, look at but I have evidence, in my opinion, that they went along with it. and I'm not saying all of them, just like we're not going along with the agendas, but we are being dragged along. So I'm saying there were a lot of people dragged along, but I'm saying there was an upper echelon that signed them up for this new world order. And part of that new world order was a way of speaking and teaching these people the way that you speak through code was, I think, very key, because you look at the valley that I grew up in, they call it the Willamette Valley. Let's see if I spell it right the first time. Yes, I believe that is it. And then you look at the meaning of the Willamette Valley, which equals Valley of Sickness. Okay, maybe I did it wrong. So hold on. Is it the Valley of Sickness? Yeah, the Valley of Sickness. I don't think that there's a lot of, they have the exact same 4 overlap. And this was decided upon, they say that this is the name given to that tribe, to their land back before they could even read. It wasn't even about reading and writing. It was like, so it's like, is that true? So this is a coincidence? I don't know. Why I'm bringing this up is because I think we should all have a questioning eye about like the history of the land that we live in the US as well. I could go into a lot further with the buildings that already existed here and all the other type of things, the infrastructure that already existed here, without boring you guys with that, even though I think it's highly fascinating and you guys probably do too. But just kind of pointing out that there's a lot of consistencies with this code and pre them ever knowing English, even sentences and phrases. So I think that that's, very suspicious, I would say. So I was not surprised to see that lowland people. And now keep in mind, I don't know if I highlighted this very well, but basically you have recent modern historians going against the few living elders of this tribe. They're all saying, yeah, no, we were called it means the lowland people. And it's in parentheses right here, just so you guys don't think I'm like pulling, it's not the lowland people. It's not some lowland people. It's exactly how they spell it. And so you have them declaring, no, this is what it is. Don't say it doesn't mean this. It's like, damn, why is it this important to you? Well, you see why it's important to them. It almost feel like it has something to do with an allegiance, or it's as good as a flag. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out, because you can also attribute horses, in America as the Native Americans to those, because they had as far as what we're shown in a media, they had like what's the word for it? They lived side by side with the horses without necessarily having to domesticate them. They had like a symbiotic relationship with the horses. And there's a lot of stuff to say that horses are not native to America anyway. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out. I think the last thing I had, so it was very close. I want to point this out. So I was watching, I just had the tab for NFL scores up, and it's so funny what they did. If you guys didn't watch the game, because I didn't either, I just had the tab for NFL scores, like I said. But Seattle hit nothing but field goals. Field goals equals 44. That's another 44. They hit 6 field goals for 18 points. Prior to that, the Colts went ahead with a minute left in the fourth quarter. They went up and it was 15-16, and that equals 31. And I'm sitting here saying Neptune equals 31. So I'm sitting here thinking, wow. And then I also thought 31 is kind of a strange score for football. That's kind of it's not necessarily, but how they went about getting the 31 was strange. It's not like it was 4 touchdowns and a field goal. It was a touchdown and like 9 field goals or something like that. It's just the way they went about it is crazy. But anyway, so they had it, 18 to 15 or 15 to 16, the last minute of the game, and right on cue, a team that has trouble moving the ball all game long, he can do nothing but hit free field goals. Just in the last minute, just goes right down the field and gets into field goal position. By the way, both were bomb kicks, so they're past 50 yards for both the kick that went up for the Colts and the kick that the Seattle hit to win the game. But even after that, the Colts went right down the field and they almost got into field goal position too. I think the clock ran out or something like that. I don't, like I said, I wasn't watching it. I saw that they were on the 40-yard line of Seattle, and like that's where you want to clock the football and at least try. Yeah, it's going to be like almost a 60-yarder, but you can hit 60-yard. People can hit 60-yarders, no problem. So the time must have ran out. It must have been a play over the middle or something, and they got tackled. I'm not exactly sure, but the only other thing I have is that Philip Michael Rivers, his full name equals 113, and Seattle went to 11-3, and that's what I was looking at until I was doing decoding, and I saw Neptune equals 31, and this is before the score went to 15-16. I was like, whoa, is Seattle really about to lose right now because they got the 31 score up for Neptune? But I think that was just a small tribute. It's just how they got 31 is very strange. And just having any team, we'd have to look up when's the last time a team won hitting nothing but field goal, like hitting six. Has any other team ever hit 6 field goals? They love doing their little firsts that just don't matter. They just to get their Scott Van Pelt to talk about it on Sports Center. But
I mean, I know there's been 6 field goals in a game, but
on one team,
there's probably been like 7 or so at some time, or more. But as far as just field goals and winning the game with just field goals, I can't remember the last time I've seen that. And of course, I mean, like I told you, it went in with the whole narrative. The 666. 6 days after Philip Rivers' birthday, we have 6 rivers flood. The Seahawks score 6 field goals.
Oh my gosh, I can't type either. Okay, 8 is the record, so not that far off.
But has there ever been a game where it's just been field goals? There might have been, but I would think the team would have lost. I don't know if there's been 6, and that's it.
Here we go. 7 is the only one that without a touchdown. So this is very close to tying some records. So we're Chris Benoit. Who's that?
I was gonna say, am I seeing stuff? I thought that said Chris Benoit. Well, he had to take a break from wrestling and interfere in this game.
Okay, wait. It says that this happened and the score was 21-6. That could be a missed extra point, but it also could have been only free field goals in this game.
Yeah.
So 8 or 9 field goals total. Interesting. What a fun game to get those $1,000 tickets to. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Chris Boniol. I just gotta see it. I gotta see it. Is that how you spell his name? Chris Boniol.
And Shane Graham.
Oh, 2 people got it. I see. Good catch. Shane. Oh my gosh. Shane.
I know. I never seen Shane spelled like that.
I would say I would call him Shaney. Bro, poor guy. Shaney. Oh man.
That's like Shanky.
Trying to shank that field goal. I think that's how
120. Never seen Shane spelled like that.
They love messing with names like that.
Never knew Chris Benoit was a kicker.
Other than his wife and kids. Kick them around every once in a while, but
I've seen him kick guys in the ring, but I didn't know he kicked field goal. He's a man of many talents.
So yeah, I mean, all this to say that they're, they use these major rituals. Um, and like I think you said it perfectly that these things that like the John Cena was a big distraction for this.
Yep.
That's a great point because it's almost as if this is a big distraction for it's just a series of distractions, and that's really what our life has boiled down to, especially with everybody has access with their phones and to stay distracted. It's like we want to be distracted anyway, so they really don't have to do a lot of work to distract us. But on top of that, they do put in the work to distract us. So it just seems like it's a monumental task to get people to see through anything nowadays because the distractions are just like I said, is these people want to be distracted and living in their own world where all this stuff makes sense because the food tastes sweet and they don't got to worry about where it's coming from. They don't got to struggle. They don't got to be ostracized. They don't have to face ridicule. They don't have, they get to just keep, churning along the machine and the machine will give them their slop and keep them nice and warm in the belly of the beast where they basically just plunge humanity into shit. Each day is worse than the last. This is just sounds like the worst thing ever. Should write this down. Very emo. I should next week. I'm gonna have black hair and painted fingernails and stuff. But go goth. But
I was just
yeah.
thinking too. I know because like we were saying last week, John Cena entered WWE in 2002 in June. WrestleMania 18 was in 2002. That was, I believe, in April. It's usually around April. So he wouldn't have been in there in time. He wouldn't have been in the WWE in time for WrestleMania. And plus, he was just starting off. But next year's WrestleMania 19 was actually in Seattle. I don't know. And that would have been, if John Cena was in it, would have been his first WrestleMania. I don't know if he was in WrestleMania 19.
Let's take a peek. See.
This could be actually more tied into Seattle than we think. We're talking about the John Cena, Phillip Rivers thing. Brock Lesnar almost broke his neck with the shooting star press with Kurt Angle. It was on 330. Very interesting. 33.
Yep, Vince McMahon.
Like there was 33 points today in the game.
They'll say Vince McMahon's not a Freemason, that he he almost has the exact explanation if you look him up as a Freemason that Trump does. They'll say there's lots of ties that he has through business with known Freemasons, but no, there's no way you know about the whole Freemasonry in wrestling, right? How wrestlers come out quite often with like rings of Freemason rings and like necklaces and things of that nature.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like they show it often in wrestling for whatever reason. I think it's more prevalent in basketball than football, at least shown. I know a lot of basketball players will flex their rings and necklaces with the compass and stuff. Not just Shaq.
Got Illuminati pyramid tattoos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All seeing eyes.
I'm looking for the exact match card.
I know Cena had to be at the 2004 WrestleMania 20 in 2004.
I guess we could look up his first WrestleMania, right?
Yeah.
Yep, next year. Yeah, 2004.
Okay.
And this was he defeated the Big Show. Wow, they really cemented him.
500-pounder
On March 14th. Pi Day.
Yeah, COVID-19 out of Seattle. WrestleMania 19 was in Seattle.
He busted out brass knuckles. What? Just once, I want to see a fight take place just like a wrestling fight. You know, those like punches that are like forearm punches instead of just punching them like normal. They got to do that like forearm punch.
Yeah.
And so they can like, uh, uh. And hey, let me throw you into the, I can't remember what the ropes. Let me throw you into the ropes and you just run right back at me. Don't try to veer off or anything. I love how it's like 50% of the times they just like run back into like the huge hit that they have planned at, and the other half they'll like just dive and it'll be like, wow, what a play. It's like, but why did you let him throw you into the ropes like so perfectly? Obviously, I'm being facetious. I understand that it's part of the show. And honestly, that's the part I can respect at least a little bit, is the showmanship of it, just the actual acts themselves. I'm not a big fan of the drama. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a fan at all of the like fake drama. I do think it's like, you got to understand it's made for kids to be able to enjoy daytime drama. So at the same time, it's, you know, it's adult on the outside. Everything about it are they're adults for adults, but it's like stupid issues that kids can wrap their heads around. But it's just, you know, half naked women and half naked men talking about them. And, you know, them getting mad, like showing their anger. I'm so mad. It's like a kid's show. You know, people don't talk like, people aren't like that. I don't know. Maybe enough roids people do show, you know, act like that all the time. But yeah, I wonder. So it looks like the two matches we called that did come through. I don't remember. Did we? Oh wait, did we say Cody Rhodes was going to win as well? We said we saw no reason for Cody Rhodes to lose, right? We said something like that. Let's go back to.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Maybe not though.
Can't
I
really
know
remember.
we looked into all the matches. And we definitely the whole it was kind of jokingly, but actually not. I did tell you, I was like, if I was betting, I would bet on Soul Rucker. That guy's got my money. Just for anyone wondering what I mean by that, but oh, why is it? I swear they changed this by the day.
Yeah, that's not what it said last week.
That is not anywhere near what it said. Whoa.
It literally said lady man.
It said all the different versions of male, female.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, that's documented.
Come on, AI.
That is documented.
It's gonna make me riot now.
I'm pretty sure this is it looked like it was a previous search that I had done, so I'm pretty sure that's the exact way I did the search. Yeah. Or maybe let's just try Ruka meaning. I don't even know how I find what I found last time then, because it literally
Soul
said,
Ruka. Yeah, you put in Soul Ruka.
man, woman, lady, boy.
Yeah, lady boy or lady man.
Mm-hmm. This is wild. They just completely changed this on the fly. 100%. There's no way. Yes, there is a way. Okay, here. Wow. Meaning old lady / man. Okay. Why do I have to? They really, bro, they're watching us.
They are.
Way. There's no way. And she won, and he won.
It literally said it was a hybrid split, a lady man, a lady
it
man.
said like multiple different versions of it too. It was like lady / man. It said like 3 different ways of saying woman, man. Okay, the Kraken lost today.
There's that 31 again.
Dude. Good. Yes, sir.
33 points in the game, but the Kraken's going down 3-1, boy.
Good. Yep. Good point. Also,
Against
Buffalo is
Buffalo.
considered,
Yeah.
Native American icon.
And the Bills beat the Patriots, and the Bills beat the
Mm.
Patriots means that's why because the Patriots and the Broncos were tied with the only losing 2 games the whole year, but now the Patriots have 3 losses, so Broncos the only team with only 2 losses.
Let's check out NFL scores. Yeah, getting right down to the wire too. 3 weeks left. Get the Vikings going against the Cowboys. Niners smacked the Titans. The Broncos winning against the Packers. I mean,
or 34 points, my bad. I was saying 33, 34, but
18 is a really weird score.
Yeah.
You don't get 18 very, very easily.
No, you don't.
In fact, I think the easiest way to get 18 very well might be 6 free field goals. Let me think.
Or
here.
a touchdown and 2 safeties.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Safeties are got to be a way harder, more less likely to get. So yeah,
but it's like it's more likely you're going to get a touchdown and 2 safeties than 6 field goals.
I guess that is statistically speaking, yeah. But I would say like in actual doing so, it's harder. That's what I meant. But yeah, it would be more likely that you do get safeties than field goals. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that is a weird ass score. There's no doubt about it. I mean,
or if you went for it like on a touchdown and got a 2-point conversion, then kicked
I
the
was
field
thinking
goal.
of the 2-point conversion ways. It would be even then. Let's see. You score 8. You need 10 points. Okay, so yeah, 2-point conversion, a regular touchdown, and a field goal. That's probably easier. That's definitely easier than 6 field goals. But still, that's a strange score. I'm sure if I looked it up, how many times has an NFL team scored 18? I bet that'd be quantifiable. It's not like if you Googled how many times has an NFL team scored 14, and then you'd be reading all night. So it's interesting. Trying to think what's just funny too, because ending with 18 points, where Peyton Manning, their most famous Colt quarterback, wore number 18. So I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Also, that he's tied to the Seahawks because we, when he was playing with the Broncos, we trounced him in the Russell Wilson Super Bowl.
Yep.
In fact, I want to say we scored like 34 points in that Super Bowl.
Or 48.
43.
43.
That's what it was. Yeah. Pretty crazy how they do it, guys. They'll present you these super teams, and then within a couple of years, all the individual pieces are just like figments of the past, and they just.
And you know what's weird too? Every time like the Seahawks do good, a lot of times the Broncos will have a good year too. Those 2 teams are always linked. Remember, is that they were the first 2 states to legalize weed in January of 2012, and then in 2005. The Super Bowl almost was the Seahawks versus the Broncos. They both went 13-3 that year. That was back when they had what's his name? Jake Plummer. And they both went 13-3 that year, but the Broncos lost the AFC championship to the Steelers. And there was a Seahawks-Steelers Super Bowl, but it almost could have been the Seahawks-Broncos again. They were like the two best teams in the NFL that year. And then it was the same thing in 2013. I think they were both 13-3, or the Broncos were like 14-2 or whatever. But once again, they were like the 2 best teams in the NFL, and they went to the Super Bowl that year. And now they're like the pretty much like the two best teams again this year as well, or right there at the top at least. So those two teams, whenever the Broncos do good, usually the Seahawks are right there with them, like pretty much like a equal. And it kind of usually, like I said, it plays out through like the playoffs and stuff. Like 2005, it probably should have been the Seahawks and Broncos. With their 13-3, they're the best teams. And then we actually got that Super Bowl in like I said, 2013 or 2014 there with the Broncos and Seahawks winning, and then now you got this year here. So it's always interesting how they do it.
I was a normie sports fan back in the day, and I remember when the Seahawks. I remember that game very well. I actually placed money on not on the Super Bowl, but on the NFC Championships. I think it was against the Bears that year, and I think the Bears were heavy favorites. Everybody was favorites that against the Seahawks because the Seahawks that's the year that they got to the Super Bowl with the worst record ever. They got into the Super Bowl with like what were they, like 9-7 or no? They were the wild card team, so it was because the NFC West used to be the worst
Yep,
in
that was
football,
in
like
2010.
historically.
Yeah, they were
So
7-9. Yeah, they had a
yeah,
losing
yeah, yeah,
record.
exactly. And we got to this. Yeah, exactly.
Sam Bradford was that was the Rams quarterback.
Yeah,
Yeah, Whitehurst, wasn't it? Whitehorse or Hurst, wasn't it, for the Seahawks
we definitely,
at
I
that
think,
time?
had a Whitehurst for sure. Are you? Which one are you thinking about? Because I think Hasselbeck was the Steelers Super Bowl.
Yeah, Hasselback was then. That was when they were 13-3.
Yeah.
That was when they were the best team with the Broncos, and then 2010 they were like 7-9, but then they won in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, we like beat the Saints and stuff too.
Yeah, beat the Super Bowl team from the year before. Yeah.
That was the Beastquake game.
Yep.
Yeah, it might have been. Was it like Charlie White? Yeah, Charlie Whitehurst. Okay. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. For whatever reason. Yeah, he was still Hasselbeck was still there though. But yeah, absolutely Whitehorse. That's a good point. Yeah, that's
And the
Sean
Broncos, the White
Alexander
Horse.
days.
Yeah.
Eagles finally win again. Get to play the Raiders, so why wouldn't they? They're gonna have some interesting stuff for the NFC North. I feel like they use the NFC North a lot for the drama. I mean, it hasn't been the Bears lately. It's been like the Lions and the Vikings, but now the Packers are getting to be good again, and now it's kind of evening out again. To where it's a division they're gonna say there's a lot of drama near the end. They love doing that. Not just rather than just between two teams. It'll be like the whole, and which is like the NFC West has been for quite a while now. They went from like
Yeah,
the
because the
worst to
Seahawks
like
have
the
to play
most
the
consistent.
Rams and
Mhm.
49ers coming up. So they got the Rams, 49ers, and Panthers. They got 3 tough games coming up, and the next one is on Thursday actually against the Rams. So
And if I'm not wrong, we've lost to both of them. So they have the
yeah, we
um,
lost the 49ers to start the year too.
yep, and then we lost to the Rams a few weeks ago. But I think they were the loss before our win streak, so 5 games ago. I say our. I still talk like I care about sports sometimes. Disregard.
It really is. It really is, though. It is our NASCAR, our wrestling, our football, because it is connected to us. I mean, this stuff is how synced up to us it is. The way they mock us and um
Joey
set all
Thomas
this up.
Logano.
Yeah.
Man, good. I'm glad I looked up the Kraken, and good catch on the not only the Buffalo thing, but obviously, yeah, the 31 for Neptune. It's everywhere, man. You know, when I first, I was way late to the. I don't know anything about sports. I swear, I didn't even know the Kraken existed, like till pretty recently. Like, so I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
they're
know.
new. They're new.
I know,
So
but they're not. How new are they?
I think the last 5 years or so, or
Okay.
6 years, maybe
Well, I
2019.
found out about them like last year, and I was, wait, huh? Let's see. Good to know they haven't been there. I mean, I would assume they haven't been there that long because I used to pay attention to sports not that long ago. So
2018, yeah.
2018. Okay.
It
So
was
yeah,
right like not long after I moved to Seattle that I was like listening on the radio. Oh, Seattle's getting an NHL team. They're getting hockey teams. They're getting this or whatever. The Kraken. And this is brand new. It's coming up. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
just for no one says Kraken though, so it'd be the Kraken usually. Interesting. Well, the Kraken is it's not just in mythology, it is something that the Titans call upon. And if you guys don't know about where the Titans are locked up, but or maybe not all the Titans, but they locked away a Titan. Was it Prometheus? I don't know. I could be wrong on that. But basically Neptune locked him up. So he's locked away in the ocean. So in the Kraken is basically a Titan. Let's see what they say about the Kraken in mythology. Let's close this out with some fun stuff. I'm pretty sure that, like, I know in Age of Mythology, this game, you could unleash the Kraken if you chose Neptune. Or maybe it was Norse. Yeah, it was Norse folklore. That's why I'm not. But there was a giant octopus in Greek mythology, though. Let's see. Probably had a different name, but okay, I understand that. Oh, Cetus. Okay. I see. Cetus. So there's the same thing in Greek mythology. It's okay, but whatever. Let's look up the Kraken Norse mythology. Okay. I understand what it is, but what about it? Let's see. Who rules over Cetus? Cetus, Greek mythology. Poseidon, Neptune. Interesting. I swear. I look. This might be in like history books, but I promise you that there is a octopus type creature in Greek mythology. So maybe AI has not been my friend lately. So
Yeah, it's not a Hydra.
no.
Hydra's like a dragon sea
Yeah.
fish.
There's even land hydras as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm just saying, like, I feel like in some version, what's that movie? Like that really famous movie with the Titans in it, and I think it's Perseus, but it's like really old. Something to do with Titans. I swear Titans is in the title. Old movie about Titans. Clash of the Titans, duh. Literally, it says Kraken right there. guys, what is going on here? That is the movie. The Kraken comes up. Okay, 100% now. Okay, so maybe it just is some fuckery from Hollywood, but still. So that's where that's coming from. I'm sure maybe some old heads in the who watch this are just like, shut up! It was Clash of the Titans, you dumbass. It was a big, but yeah, so that's obviously why I know about that. But or one of the reasons why I know about that. I've done my share of looking into mythologies since then, but I've always just considered a kraken to be a part of Greek mythology. Although I did know it to be in Norse mythology as well. I've never heard it be mostly Norse mythology and then them have AI tell me, "Oh, it's not Greek." It's like, "Bitch, what are you talking about?" It's Cetus. Okay, what? I've never heard of a Cetus. I have heard of Cetus, but anyway, point proven. In that movie, the Kraken comes out. Same fucking thing. I think you get to see titties in that movie. I think this might have been the first time I ever saw titties in a movie. I'm almost positive that she's nude.
Clash of the
like,
Clash of the Titties.
The Tetons.
Yeah, the great Tetons.
Oh, great finisher right there.
The battle of the boobs.
Oh yeah, he was fighting for something that day, though. I'd say I'd have taken on a big ass Kraken too. Anyway, that's funny. Well, we will leave it on this goofier subject, but if you guys resonated with anything we mentioned this evening, whether or not it was the opener, which was a lot different toned than I would say the remainder of our episode. Although I do think we got through a lot in quite a short period of time. It was fun nonetheless. But with the beginning when we were talking about the anecdote from Austin, and I posed the question, what do you guys think about the healthcare system and the hospice care system and the caretaking system? And what do you think about there being, potential for discrepancies and wrongdoing and things of that nature? And where do you view it? Do you view it as mostly accidental, or do you think that these systems are set up, like honeypots, almost like to attract this sort of behavior? Or whatever you have to say about it. I'm just kind of guiding some questions. Yeah, we look forward to your guys' take on that. And obviously, if you have any more information, Zach has been a great resource. King Richard's a great resource for videos on these last two topics that we talked about, are mainly the Phillip Rivers flooding. But if you guys have any more information, feel free to leave us in the comments. Hit us up in the email. I did take away our scroll here, but I'll put it back up. It'll also be in the description. But yeah, feel free to hit us up. And still no takers to join our show yet. There's been some like on the fencers, and we look forward to hopefully those people Humpty Dumptying right off, cracking the egg and joining us one of these times. It doesn't have to be 2 hours. It can be 30 minutes, 15 minutes. There's no formalities. So we're just looking for people to reach out and try to make something happen. But yeah, I'll let you close us out with some goodbyes, and we'll peace out.
Yeah, absolutely. I did reach out to a couple people this week too about possibly coming on. They both it's kind of the same thing I keep hearing. Like, they're not like saying no, but they're not really saying yeah. They might be open to it, but I don't know if it's really going to go anywhere. But I have been reaching out more to other people, other channels, and they're just trying to find other people, other audiences, so we don't have to hear our own echo every single week. And it's always great when you have other people, and I had a lot of other notes tonight, but it was all stuff on from Zach's video on the basically all Zach's notes. So, I mean, credit to Zach because pretty much what all my other notes were basically just the same exact thing as his. But you could, obviously just go watch, Gematria Effect News and watch the Philip Rivers episode he did a few a few days ago, and you'll basically you'd get all the information that I would share with the gematria of everything. But yeah, you had the 666 with the Seahawks, 6 field goals, 6 days after Philip Rivers' birthday, 6 rivers flood here in Washington, and all the other stuff. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, it would just be basically going over Zach's video, and I've done that before where I've gone over the same information, same
Mhm.
gematria and stuff. But like I said, I try not to be too redundant and say the same thing over. Obviously, we all share the same information, all know the same gematria and everything. Whatever he says or I say or you say, we all just kind of add in. So, instead of just going over the same things he's said or found, I just take it in or write it down. Just kind of try and find other things, that we see or add. So it kind of makes that stand out. So we just get more info flowing and try and just keep it that way. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll see if we do have King next week, if he's on. Like I said, 2 weeks from now, we'll have our year in review episode. I'm looking forward to that
Yep.
because there's a lot to talk about, a lot to say about that and that one. The calendar year coming to an end in a couple weeks, and that'll be a great episode. We'll see what happens next week if King does come on or not. I don't know if he exactly will or, otherwise we'll just kind of rock probably whatever he's got or he wants to say and see how that shapes up. But um,
Well, he's been cooking. I've
yeah,
caught a couple of them, but he's been putting out a lot of content on all the. I mean, there's been several headlines. This wasn't actually a slow week. We could have touched on a lot of different headlines, a lot of different shootings they're bringing
yeah,
back up and things of that nature. So if he is able to make it next week, we're gonna get to cover a lot of that. And by the way, what you're saying, I completely agree. It's nice to establish a baseline. It's not parroting for the purpose of claiming information as your own and thinking that way is reductive. We're not going to get anywhere thinking that way. But yeah, providing a baseline of information and then adding to it is exactly what we're trying to do. So yeah.
yeah. And like I said, I mean, I've gone over Zach's notes before, and a lot of it's stuff I know, stuff that maybe we catch or things to add on. But he had a great video on that. So I mean, if you didn't see that video, definitely go check that out. Because that was a great video with a lot of information in it. And like I said, I mean, I could have just, reset all that stuff tonight, but I mean, it's, that's the thing is, like we've got a lot of information, tonight. There's a lot of information on different things and a lot that we found and talked about, went over. You had your own things that you brought up and had good research on too. And, that's always good. And it's like, I try and keep every, episode different too. Like last week we had a little bit of gematria, not a ton, but there was a little bit with the John Cena stuff and things like that. Um, Tonight we both had a little bit of gematria again too. Again, not a ton, but a decent amount. Um, it doesn't always have to be about gematria. It doesn't, just have to be about that. It can be about, anything. And that's, kind of what I try and, that's another thing too, trying to get other people on here and other audience, other people and stuff. It doesn't have to be about anything in particular, but usually, like when King's on, usually we always talk, gematria. He's got things he always talks about in ads and, brings on. It's always great to hear what he has to say. And sometimes we do go over things anyways. We might go over things again or stuff other people say or whatever. But again, just trying not to be too redundant because I know like what we got's going on is pretty rare and pretty unique. So I like to kind of keep it that way. But yeah, I mean, other people that, like I said, I mean, I know I looked too. We were up to 335 subs and I looked and it said we were down to like 333
Hmm.
or 333. So I don't know what we're at now, but I know people kind of, that's how it's been. Like we go up a little
Some
bit, couple
Gunther
will drop
fans.
off. Yeah, we go up a little bit, people kind of drop off apparently. So I don't know. It's just a slow grow process. Some people kind of fall off or get weeded out or whatever. But yeah, like I said, I mean, we've, been on here quite a while and it's only been the three of us. King's been on 5 times and it's been us. So, I mean, we're still trying to, And hopefully that does change in 2026. That'll be something we'll have to talk about too in the year in review thing too, is just kind of going forwards. Finally getting and reaching out and, other people. It's, I mean, when you've been on for, because it'll be basically years on end at that point, it's like years and it's just been the same people. It's just, it does get a little bit weird. It does get, it is kind of like, man, it makes you just a weird feeling. It's just been a weird week, but I did try and find people that, like I said, that's why, that's why we do this too. It's, we have our own way of talking about things or presenting things. Hopefully people don't get bored or, like I said, next couple of weeks, I got stuff going on. I got a lot going on. So a lot of shows will be, we'll be starting a little bit earlier and we'll be ending, be a little bit shorter. So, people that don't like the longer episodes and have to sit through all that and, have to, get bored or just don't have the attention span. Hopefully that kind of helps. Some people that they might prefer the longer episodes, and those will be back in due time at some point. But I think it's best to kind of keep it short and sweet sometimes and have, just kind of see what people have to say and get people's attention. And like I said, we'll see what the next couple weeks bring if we get King next week, and looking forward to the year in review and stuff. And yeah, we'll have to see. And I'm sure that, we, like I said, last little bit of the calendar year, they like to, throw things in, smash things in, get things crammed in at the end. So, and usually to start the year and end the year, the calendar year that is. And then when the real year starts, April will probably be, who knows what life will be like by then. But yeah, I mean, I think there's gonna be big things coming the next couple of weeks. I don't think it's gonna be necessarily quiet. I think things are ramping up, and
I agree.
It's hard to say we're going to be a week from now, and it's going to be the darkest. I know December 20th or December 21st is the longest, darkest day of the year. So next episode, we're going to be in the dark. It's going to be dark 30. Going to be the time of the hour.
Zero dark 30. Hell yeah. Well, with that, hope you guys have a great week, and hope nowhere around you is flooding. And yeah, well wishes to everybody who watches this and yours. And until next week, later.
Peace.